Imagine this. You're in a meeting, pouring your heart into an idea, and someone cuts you off with a dismissive smirk. Or maybe a friend betrays your trust with a stinging comment that leaves you speechless. That gut punch feeling of disrespect. It hurts, doesn't it? But what if that moment wasn't just pain, but a doorway to discovering your deepest strength? Welcome to Jung's Psyche Hub, where we dive into the timeless wisdom of Carl Jung to transform life's challenges into opportunities for growth. In this video, we're uncovering the 10th of Jungian Lessons to Handle, Disrespect, powerful insights drawn from Carl Jung's psychology to help you turn insults into stepping stones toward your authentic self. From confronting your shadow to embracing your inner hero, these lessons will show you how to stay calm, reclaim your power, and grow stronger than ever. Stick with us until the end to discover all 10 lessons and unlock practical steps to navigate disrespect like a true Jungian sage. Have you ever faced disrespect that shook you? Drop your story in the comments, we'd love to hear it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more Carl Jung-inspired wisdom. Let's dive in. Welcome to the first step on our journey to transform disrespect into personal growth through the lens of Carl Jung's profound psychology. Disrespect can feel like a punch to the gut, whether it's a snide remark from a colleague or a cold shoulder from someone you care about. But what if the real power lies not in the act of disrespect itself, but in how you choose to respond? In this chapter, we'll uncover 2 powerful Jungian lessons to help you see disrespect in a new light. Using Carl Jung's concepts of the shadow and the ego, let's dive into the first lesson. Lesson 1. Look into the shadow. Carl Jung taught us that every person carries a shadow, the hidden, often unacknowledged parts of ourselves that we push away, like insecurities, fears, or unresolved pain. When someone disrespects you, it's tempting to lash out or feel diminished. But Carl Jung's wisdom invites us to pause and ask, what does this moment reveal about the other person's shadow, not yours? Disrespect often stems from the other person's inner struggles, their own unhealed wounds or unconscious fears projected onto you. By recognizing this, you can detach from the sting of their words and see the situation for what it is, a reflection of their inner world. Not your worth? Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Sarah, a marketing manager who spent weeks crafting a pitch for a new campaign. During the presentation, her boss interrupts her mid-sentence, rolling his eyes and saying, "This won't work. Let's move on." The room goes silent, and Sarah feels her face flush with embarrassment. Her first instinct is to shrink or snap back, but instead, she takes a deep breath and thinks about Carl Jung's shadow. She realizes her boss's harsh reaction might not be about her pitch at all. Maybe he's under pressure from higher-ups, or perhaps he's grappling with his own insecurities about leading the team. By seeing his behavior as a projection of his shadow, Sarah shifts her perspective. Instead of taking it personally, she calmly asks, "Can we discuss what specifically didn't work?" This opens a constructive dialogue, and her boss softens, admitting he's been stressed. This is the power of looking into the shadow. When you face disrespect, ask yourself, what's driving this person's behavior? Is it their fear, insecurity, or pain speaking? By doing this, you not only protect your inner peace, but also turn a painful moment into an opportunity for clarity and connection. Carl Jung reminds us that understanding the shadow both in others and ourselves is the first step toward wisdom. But recognizing the shadow in others is only half the equation. What about the part of you that wants to react, to fight back or prove them wrong? That's where our second lesson comes in. Rooted in another cornerstone of Carl Jung's psychology, the ego. Lesson 2. Master your ego. Carl Jung described the ego as the conscious part of your psyche, the eye that navigates the world and defends your sense of self. When someone disrespects you, your ego often takes the hit, urging you to retaliate or retreat to protect your pride. But Carl Jung's teachings show us that true strength lies in mastering your ego, not letting it control your reactions. Instead of reacting from a place of wounded pride, you can respond from a place of self-awareness, aligned with your deepest values. Let's meet John, a graphic designer who's passionate about his work. During a team meeting, a colleague jokingly says, "John's designs are so last season, maybe he should stick to PowerPoint." The team laughs, and John feels a surge of anger. His ego screams, "Defend yourself. Prove them wrong." But John remembers Carl Jung's advice to question the ego's impulses. He takes a moment to reflect. Did I do anything to invite this? Is there truth in their words? Or is this about something else? He realizes his colleague's comment might stem from jealousy over a recent project John won. Instead of firing back, John smiles and says, "I appreciate the feedback. Let's talk about how we can make these designs even better." His calm, confident response shifts the conversation, and his colleague backs off. Impressed by John's composure, mastering your ego doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means choosing responses that reflect your true self, not your wounded pride. Carl Jung believed that self-awareness is the key to personal growth. And when you face disrespect, reflecting on your ego's role helps you act with integrity. Ask yourself, am I reacting to protect my ego, or am I responding from my core values? This simple question can transform how you handle challenging moments, turning disrespect into a chance to grow stronger and more authentic. In this chapter, we've explored 2 Jungian lessons to handle disrespect, looking into the shadow to understand the other person's behavior, and mastering your ego to respond with clarity and strength. These lessons, inspired by Carl Jung's profound insights, remind us that disrespect is not a dead end, it's a doorway to self-discovery. Stay with us as we move to Chapter 2, where we'll dive into how pausing and empathizing can unlock even deeper wisdom. Have you ever used self-reflection to handle a tough moment? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're all on this journey together. Welcome back to our journey of transforming disrespect into personal growth with the wisdom of Carl Jung. In Chapter 1, we learned how to look into the shadow and master our ego to respond to disrespect with clarity and strength. Now, we're diving deeper into 2 more Jungian lessons that will empower you to handle those stinging moments with grace and insight. Disrespect can spark anger or hurt. But what if you could pause, tap into your inner wisdom, and respond in a way that not only diffuses the situation, but also elevates your soul? Let's explore how pausing and empathizing, rooted in Carl Jung's psychology, can unlock profound transformation. Lesson 3. Pause to connect. With the unconscious, Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind holds a wellspring of wisdom, a reservoir of insights that can guide us through life's toughest moments. When someone disrespects you, say, a stranger snaps at you in traffic, or a family member dismisses your feelings, your first instinct might be to fire back or shut down. But Carl Jung's teachings urge us to pause, to create a sacred moment of stillness where you can connect with the unconscious. This pause isn't just about holding your tongue. It's about listening to the quiet voice within, the one that knows how to respond with clarity and purpose. Picture Lisa, a barista who loves her job, but faces rude customers daily. One morning, a man in a hurry barks. "This coffee tastes awful. Do you even know what you're doing?" Lisa feels a flush of anger, her heart racing with the urge to defend herself. But instead of reacting, she remembers Carl Jung's wisdom about the unconscious. She takes a deep breath, closes her eyes for a split second, and imagines diving into the calm depths of her inner world. In that pause, she feels a wave of clarity, This man's anger isn't about her. It's about his own stress. She smiles and says, "I'm sorry you're not enjoying it. Let me make you a fresh cup." Her calm response disarms the customer, who softens and even apologizes. Pausing to connect with the unconscious is like opening a window to your soul. It gives you access to intuition, that inner compass Carl Jung called the voice of the self. When you face disrespect, try this. Take a deep breath. Count to 3. And ask yourself, what does my inner wisdom say about this moment? This simple act can shift you from reacting out of anger to responding with purpose, turning a tense encounter into a moment of growth. Carl Jung reminds us that the unconscious is a powerful ally. When you pause, you invite its wisdom to guide you. Pausing gives you clarity. But what do you do with that clarity? That's where our next lesson comes in, using empathy to see the world through the lens of Carl Jung's archetypes. By understanding the deeper forces at play, you can transform disrespect into a bridge for connection. Lesson 4. Empathize through archetypes. Carl Jung introduced the concept of archetypes, universal patterns of behavior and personality that live in the collective unconscious. Like the hero, the mother, or the trickster, when someone disrespects you, their actions often stem from an archetype at work within them, shaped by their struggles or fears. By empathizing through archetypes, you can step into their shoes, see their behavior as part of a larger human story, and respond with compassion instead of conflict. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior. It means understanding it to protect your peace and foster connection. Let's meet Mike, a high school teacher who faces a challenging student. Emma, who rolls her eyes and mutters, "This class is such a waste of time." Mike's first instinct is to call her out, but he pauses and thinks about Carl Jung's archetypes. He wonders, what archetype is Emma embodying right now? He recognizes her behavior as the rebel, an archetype often driven by a need to assert independence or mask insecurity. Instead of taking her comment personally, Mike sees Emma's defiance as a cry for validation. He pulls her aside after class and says, "I noticed you seemed frustrated today. Want to share what's on your mind?" This empathetic approach opens a dialogue, and Emma admits she's struggling with stress at home. By seeing her through the lens of the rebel archetype, Mike turns a moment of disrespect into an opportunity to connect and support. Empathizing through archetypes helps you reframe disrespect as a window into someone else's inner world. When you encounter rudeness, ask yourself, what archetype might this person be expressing? Are they acting as a wounded child, a warrior, or a trickster? This perspective allows you to respond with kindness and curiosity, diffusing tension and building bridges. Carl Jung taught that empathy is a path to understanding the collective unconscious, where we're all connected. By practicing it, you not only maintain your dignity, but also grow in wisdom and compassion. In this chapter, we've uncovered 2 Jungian lessons for handling disrespect, pausing to connect with the unconscious and empathizing through archetypes. These tools, drawn from Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, help you respond to disrespect with clarity, compassion, and strength. By pausing, you tap into your inner wisdom. By empathizing, you see the human behind the behavior. Together, these lessons transform painful moments into opportunities for growth and connection. Stay with us for Chapter 3, where we'll explore how to live true to your values in the face of disrespect. Have you ever paused or empathized to handle a tough moment? Share your story in the comments, we'd love to hear it. Welcome back to our journey of turning disrespect into a catalyst for personal growth with Carl Jung's timeless wisdom. In Chapter 2, we discovered how pausing to connect with the unconscious and empathizing through archetypes can transform how we handle disrespect. Now, We're stepping into Chapter 3, where we'll explore 2 more Jungian lessons that empower you to rise above rudeness by staying true to who you are. Disrespect can shake your confidence. But what if you could respond with the strength of a hero and the freedom of a liberated soul? Let's dive into these lessons. Rooted in Carl Jung's concepts of the hero archetype and the liberated psyche, to help you stand tall in the face of adversity. Lesson 5. Act as the hero archetype. Carl Jung described the hero archetype as the part of us that rises to meet challenges with courage, integrity, and purpose. When someone disrespects you, whether it's a cutting remark from a coworker or a dismissive attitude from a loved one, your instinct might be to shrink or fight back. But Carl Jung's hero archetype invites you to take a different path, to act with dignity, to stand firm in your values, and to transform the moment into a testament to your inner strength. The hero doesn't need to prove others wrong. The hero proves themselves right by living authentically. Let's meet Emily, a college student passionate about environmental activism. During a group discussion, a classmate mocks her ideas, saying, "Your green initiatives are just a waste of time. Nobody cares." The room laughs, and Emily feels a wave of self-doubt. But instead of retreating, she channels Carl Jung's hero archetype. She remembers that her values, protecting the planet and inspiring change, are bigger than one person's scorn. With calm confidence, she responds, "I hear you, but I believe in this cause. Let's talk about how we can make it resonate with more people." Her steady voice and unwavering commitment shift the room's energy, and even her critic nods in respect. Acting as the hero archetype means responding to disrespect in a way that reflects your deepest values, not your fleeting emotions. Carl Jung taught that the hero's journey is about overcoming external challenges to discover inner truth. When you face disrespect, ask yourself, how would my inner hero respond right now? This question anchors you in courage and purpose, turning a painful moment into a step toward becoming your most authentic self. By choosing to act as the hero, you don't just survive disrespect, you transcend it. Living as a hero gives you strength. But what happens when disrespect comes from things beyond your control? That's where our next lesson comes in. Drawing on Carl Jung's wisdom about finding freedom through acceptance. Lesson 6. Accept with a liberated psyche. Carl Jung believed that true freedom comes from embracing what you cannot change, allowing your psyche to rise above external chaos. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to get caught in a cycle of anger or resentment, especially if their behavior feels unfair. But Carl Jung's concept of a liberated psyche teaches us to accept what's outside our control, the words, actions, or opinions of others, while focusing on what we can control, our inner peace and growth. Acceptance isn't about giving in. It's about freeing your soul to pursue your own path of individuation. Carl Jung's term for becoming your true self. Consider Tom, a freelance writer who dreams of publishing a novel. At a family gathering, his uncle scoffs. "You're still chasing that writing fantasy. Get a real job." The comment stings, especially from someone Tom respects. But instead of arguing, Tom reflects on Carl Jung's idea of a liberated psyche. He realizes he can't control his uncle's opinions, but he can control how he lets them affect him. He silently acknowledges his uncle's words as a reflection of his own limited perspective, then smiles and says, "I appreciate your concern, but writing is my calling." By accepting the disrespect without letting it derail his dreams, Tom feels a sense of inner freedom, recommitting to his creative journey with renewed focus. Accepting with a liberated psyche means letting go of the need to change others and focusing instead on your own growth. Carl Jung taught that individuation requires us to release attachments to external validation, embracing both the light and shadow within us. When disrespect strikes, Try this. Take a moment to breathe and say to yourself, I accept this moment as it is, and I choose to focus on my own path. This practice frees you from the weight of others' judgments, allowing you to move forward with clarity and purpose. In this chapter, we've explored 2 Jungian lessons for handling disrespect, acting as the hero archetype to stand firm in your values, and accepting with a liberated psyche to find freedom in what you cannot control. These lessons, inspired by Carl Jung's profound insights, show us that disrespect doesn't have to diminish us. It can strengthen our resolve to live authentically. Stay with us for Chapter 4, where we'll dive into how humor and boundaries can further empower you to navigate disrespect with wisdom. Have you ever stood up for your values or let go of someone's judgment to find peace? Share your story in the comments. We're all learning together. Welcome back to our journey of transforming disrespect into personal growth through the so profound lens of Carl Jung's psychology. In Chapter 3, we explored how acting as the hero archetype and accepting with a liberated psyche can help you rise above rudeness with strength and freedom. Now, in Chapter 4, we're diving into 2 more Jungian lessons that will equip you to handle disrespect with a blend of wit and resolve. Disrespect can feel like a personal attack. But what if you could deflect it with the wisdom of a sage, or stand firm like a guardian of your own soul? Let's uncover how humor and boundaries, rooted in Carl Jung's archetypes of the wise old man and the guardian, can empower you to navigate these moments with grace and power. Lesson 7. Humor as the wise old man. Carl Jung described the wise old man archetype as the inner sage, a figure of wisdom who brings clarity and perspective to life's challenges. When faced with disrespect, this archetype doesn't just react, it finds a way to rise above with intelligence and, sometimes, a touch of humor. Humor, when used wisely, is a powerful tool to diffuse tension, maintain your emotional balance, and even shift the dynamic of a disrespectful encounter. Carl Jung believed that the wise old man helps us see beyond the surface, finding creative ways to transform conflict into connection. Let's meet Anna, a project manager who often deals with a critical co-worker. Mark. During a team meeting, Mark interrupts her presentation with a sarcastic comment. Nice slides. Anna. But did you borrow them from a middle schooler? The team chuckles, and Anna feels a sting of embarrassment, but instead of letting it derail her, she channels the wise old man archetype. With a playful smile, she responds, Well, Mark, I figured simple slides would help us all keep up with my brilliant ideas. The room bursts into laughter, and Mark, caught off guard, grins and moves on. Anna's witty response not only diffuses the tension but also reinforces her confidence, showing everyone she's unshaken. Using humor as the wise old man doesn't mean mocking others or ignoring disrespect. It means responding with light-hearted wisdom that keeps you in control. Carl Jung taught that humor can be a bridge to the unconscious, revealing deeper truths while keeping conflict at bay. When disrespect strikes, ask yourself, how can I respond with a touch of humor that reflects my inner wisdom? A well-placed joke or a playful remark can shift the energy, protect your dignity, and even earn respect from others. The wise old man reminds us that humor, when used thoughtfully, is a mark of true strength. Humor can lighten the mood, but sometimes disrespect calls for a firmer response. That's where our next lesson comes in. Drawing on Carl Jung's concept of the guardian archetype to set boundaries that protect your inner peace. Lesson 8. Set boundaries. As the guardian, Carl Jung's psychology emphasizes the importance of protecting the psyche, the sacred space of your inner self. The guardian archetype represents this protective force, a steadfast presence that shields your values, dignity, and emotional well-being. When someone disrespects you, setting clear boundaries isn't about being defensive. It's about honoring your worth and creating a space where respect can flourish. The guardian doesn't lash out or crumble, it stands tall, calmly asserting what's acceptable and what's not. Consider David, a graphic designer who loves hanging out with his old college friends, but one friend, Alex, has a habit of making snide remarks about David's career, saying things like, "Still doodling for a living." At a recent gathering, David decides he's had enough. Drawing on the guardian archetype, he takes a deep breath and says, "Alex, I value our friendship, but I don't appreciate comments like that. Let's keep this respectful." His tone is calm but firm, and the group falls silent for a moment. Alex mumbles an apology, and the conversation shifts to a more positive tone. By setting a clear boundary, David not only protects his self-respect, but also sets a new standard for how he expects to be treated. Setting boundaries as the guardian means clearly communicating your limits while staying true to your values. Carl Jung believed that protecting the psyche is essential for individuation, the journey to becoming your true self when faced with disrespect. Try this pause. Reflect on what feels unacceptable, and say, "I respect myself too much to let this slide." So here's how we move forward. This approach doesn't escalate conflict. It creates clarity and fosters mutual respect. The guardian archetype teaches us that boundaries are not walls. They're bridges to healthier relationships and a stronger sense of self. In this chapter, we've explored 2 Jungian lessons for handling disrespect, using humor as the wise old man to diffuse tension with wit, and setting boundaries as the guardian to protect your inner peace. These lessons, drawn from Carl Jung's profound archetypes, I show that disrespect doesn't have to throw you off course. It can be an opportunity to shine with wisdom and strength. Stay with us for Chapter 5, where we'll uncover how forgiveness and perspective can complete your journey to mastering disrespect. Have you ever used humor or set a boundary to handle a disrespectful moment? Drop your story in the comments. We're all on this path together. Welcome to the final chapter of our journey to transform disrespect into personal growth through Carl Jung's profound psychology. In Chapter 4, we learned how humor, as the wise old man, and boundaries, as the guardian, empower us to handle disrespect with wit and strength. Now, in Chapter 5, we're diving into 2 final Jungian lessons that will bring this journey full circle. Disrespect can leave you feeling wounded or stuck. But what if you could release that pain and see the bigger picture? These lessons, rooted in Carl Jung's concepts of individuation and the self, will show you how forgiveness and perspective can free you to become your truest, most authentic self. Let's dive in. Lesson 9. Forgive for individuation. Carl Jung's concept of individuation is the lifelong journey of integrating all parts of your psyche, light and shadow, strengths and flaws, to become your true self. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to hold on to anger or resentment, letting their words weigh you down. But Carl Jung teaches that forgiveness is a powerful act of individuation, not a gift to the other person, but a gift to yourself. Forgiving doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or forgetting the hurt. It means choosing to release the emotional burden that holds you back from growth. By forgiving, you free your psyche to focus on your own journey, not someone else's actions. Let's meet Rachel, an office administrator who overheard a co-worker, Lisa, spreading rumors about her work ethic. Rachel felt betrayed, especially since she considered Lisa a friend. Her first instinct was to confront Lisa or hold a grudge. But she remembered Carl Jung's idea of individuation. She realized that clinging to anger would only trap her in a cycle of pain, pulling her away from her path to self-discovery. Instead, Rachel chose forgiveness. She approached Lisa calmly and said, I heard what you said, and it hurt. I'm choosing to let it go. But I hope we can be honest with each other moving forward. Lisa apologized. And while their friendship wasn't the same, Rachel felt a weight lift off her shoulders. By forgiving, she reclaimed her energy for her own growth, focusing on her goals rather than the sting of betrayal. Forgiving for individuation is about choosing yourself over the pain of disrespect. Carl Jung believed that every challenge, including disrespect, is an opportunity to integrate your psyche and move closer to your true self. When you face disrespect, try this. Reflect on the hurt and say to yourself, I release this pain to focus on my own growth. This act of forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It empowers you to write a new chapter in your journey. The path to individuation, Carl Jung reminds us, is paved with choices that prioritize your inner peace over external conflict. Forgiveness frees your heart. But how do you rise above disrespect to see it in a new light? That's where our final lesson comes in. Using Carl Jung's concept of the self to shift your perspective and find true liberation. Lesson 10. See through the lens of the self. Carl Jung described the self as the center of your psyche, the unifying force that integrates all aspects of who you are. Your ego, shadow, and unconscious wisdom. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to get caught up in the moment, feeling attacked or diminished. But Carl Jung's concept of the self invites you to step back and see the bigger picture, to view disrespect through a lens that transcends the immediate hurt. By looking through the lens of the self, you realize that disrespectful moments are fleeting in the grand tapestry of your life, and they don't define your worth or purpose. Let's meet Mark, a small business owner who received a scathing online review from a customer, calling his service a total rip-off. Mark felt crushed, worrying that this one comment would ruin his reputation. But then he thought about Carl Jung's idea of the self. He asked himself, in the grand scheme of my life, does this one review really matter? He reflected on his passion for his work, the loyal customers who valued his service, and his long-term goals through the lens of the self. He saw the review as a reflection of the customer's frustration, not his own value. Instead of firing back online, Mark responded politely, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Please reach out so we can make this right. The customer never replied, but Mark's calm response earned praise from other clients, reinforcing his confidence. Seeing through the lens of the self means stepping back to view disrespect as a small thread in the larger fabric of your life. Carl Jung taught that the self is your inner compass, guiding you toward meaning and purpose. When disrespect hits, try this. Take a moment to breathe and ask, what does this moment look like through the lens of my greater self? This perspective helps you let go of petty conflicts and focus on what truly matters: your values, your goals, and your journey to wholeness. By embracing the self, you transform disrespect into a reminder of your resilience and purpose. In this final chapter, we've explored 2 Jungian lessons for handling disrespect: forgiving to advance your individuation, and seeing through the lens of the self to shift your perspective. These lessons, inspired by Carl Jung's profound wisdom, remind us that disrespect is not an obstacle, it's an invitation to grow, to release what holds you back, and to embrace your truest self. As we wrap up this journey, ask yourself, how will you use these lessons to transform the next disrespectful moment you face? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. And don't miss our powerful outro, where we'll tie it all together and inspire you to keep growing with Carl Jung's wisdom. And there you have it, 10 powerful Jungian lessons to transform disrespect into a stepping stone for personal growth, from looking into the shadow to seeing through the lens of the self. We've walked a transformative path together, guided by Carl Jung's timeless psychology, Disrespect doesn't have to be a wound that holds you back. It can be a spark that ignites your journey to becoming your truest, most authentic self. Every snide comment, every dismissive glance, every moment that tests your patience is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more whole. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Let that sink in. The next time someone disrespects you, remember, you have the power to choose. Will you let their words dim your light? Or will you use these lessons to shine even brighter? This is your moment to rise, to embrace your shadow, to act as a hero, to forgive, and to see the world through the lens of your greater self. Now, we want to hear from you. What's one moment of disrespect you faced? And how will you use Carl Jung's wisdom to transform it? Drop your story in the comments below. Your journey could inspire someone else on this path. If this video resonated with you, give it a thumbs up to help us spread Carl Jung's wisdom to more people. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another deep dive into psychology and self-discovery. Share this video with someone who needs a boost of inner strength today, because together, we're building a community of growth and transformation. Thank you for joining us on this journey at Jung Psyche Hub. Keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining. Until next time, let Carl Jung's wisdom guide you to a life of meaning and purpose.